anything bad, you want to know, you want us to look into any kind of story that you saw over the weekend, give us a call, 622-9622. And I'll take your call, or you can email me at tom@woca.com. Usually at this time, we have Will Matthews, the area manager of Bojangles, on the air with us, but Bojangles is busy this morning. He can't get away from the restaurant, so that's a good thing. That if like Yogi Berra said, place so busy nobody goes there anymore. If you got a bunch of business and you can't make it to the radio station, we completely understand. So we'll catch up with Will next week. The Easter holiday was great, and I'm not one that enjoys Easter very much. And I'll give you a little backstory. My father, who was my champion, every boy. For the most part, if your father's worth his salt, every boy has even no matter how old you get and how grown you get, you have those fond memories of your dad. And my dad was no different. Smitty was no different. He was one of the best mechanics you'd ever come into contact with. And Easter was his favorite holiday. And as you know, he was tragically murdered on that holiday. So Easter's not always been a fan favorite of mine in my adult life. But my wife, Susan, is turning that around, and she's doing it through my stomach, folks. that's way to a man's heart. What do they say? The way to a man's heart's to his stomach. Man, last year she made a big ham spread and everything. She made a homemade yeast cross buns and everything. Well, this year she didn't have to make homemade bread because Linda from Magnolia Bakery had supplied that in one of her bread loaves she brought me in here, one of her frosted bread loaves she brought me in here last week, and we were able to use that as our bread, our sweet bread at the table. But my wife laid out the big sweet ham with the glazed, spiral cut, and some green beans and soaked in butter, and mashed potatoes and creamed corn. I mean, come on, who doesn't want that kind of well, you got to like Easter to get that kind of meal. I like Easter. I'm a fan of Easter. We went to church yesterday at Blessed Trinity to the 11 o'clock Mass. I think that everybody had forgot to go to church until 11 o'clock yesterday because it was overflow. When you go to church and an usher comes up to you right as church is starting and goes, can y'all squeeze together and fit 3 more people in there? And then you go to get communion. And as you're walking up now I'm in the balcony because I sit in the balcony. When you're walking up, there's about 30 or 40 people standing on the back wall because that's how full the church is. It's a good time then. Nice service yesterday. Father Pat gave a good message yesterday at Blessed Trinity for Easter. And then we went home, and, we don't have any children. We have our puppies. So we hid bones for them. How about that, Ralph? We hid some meat bones, and they went around and they found them, the four bones we hid. We took each dog to find his bone individually. That way we didn't have, 4 dogs and one of them trying to bogart all the bones. But it was a good time. It was a fun time, and we got through Easter well. That's the first time in years that I have not visited my father's grave on Easter. I'm going to go do that next weekend. So, but all in all, a great Easter weekend. I hope you and yours had a great Easter weekend. It was a lot went on in town this weekend. Like I said, I took in the Beer and Wine Festival from 2 to 6 on Saturday. They had a Battle of the Bands contest. 3 bands competed to be the opening band for an event at the Riley later on this year. And a band called Side Piece won the Battle of the Bands. They're a group that I know quite a few of those band members personally, and they're very, very talented, and they showed that. All 3 bands were very talented. Showed that one band actually went beyond yeoman's work because they had their drummer get in a bad car accident on Thursday, 2 days before Battle of the Band, and they had to find a replacement drummer 2 days before this event to try to be the opening band at a large event where there are going to be, some scouts and stuff at. So, but it was a good time, and the charities are the winner here. On Saturday, with the large turnout at the Beer and Wine Festival, Yes, it was a good event for downtown Ocala. Yes, it was a good social event. The party was great. You got to taste a lot of different beers and wines from around the country. But all the money went to benefit Interfaith, Kimberly's Cottage, and the Marion County Literacy Council. 3 very worthy charities in our community. If you don't know what Interfaith does, then you either just moved here about 5 minutes ago or you're dead, because Carla Grimsley and what her staff does at Interfaith is well documented. She's a friend of the show. I've had her on numerous times. Interfaith, with that transient population we were talking about earlier in the show, Interfaith does a lot to bridge the gap for the community and the transient population in this community. And Carla Grimsley and her staff are to be commended. The Literacy Council, they help adults read. How's that a bad thing? And so my good friend R.J. Jenkins is on the board of directors there, and the Literacy Council, Marion County Literacy Council, does a great job. And then, of course, Kimberly's Cottage, that's for abused children, abused girls and stuff. And how can you not understand the good they do for the community? So 3 very good charities that were well represented and well taken care of, by the way, from all the people that turned out at this event over the weekend. Kudos to the city of Ocala, to all the vendors, and to everyone who was part of putting that on. You did a yeoman's job and a very, very good event. And I'm proud to say that the city of Ocala and my community did one of those events that was such good and did such good for the community. So kudos to everybody involved in that event. Let's get to birthdays today. Told you Ben Franklin passed away yesterday. Let's first get to this day in history. This day in history, Grace Kelly marries Prince Rainier of Monaco, becoming Prince Grace. That happened in 1956. 1978, the U.S. signs an agreement that if you don't like Jimmy Carter, that you don't like this agreement. On this day, April 18th, 1978, the U.S. agrees by signing the treaty to return the Panama Canal to Panama on December 31st, 1999. One of the biggest mistakes I think that a U.S. president's ever made, but that's just my opinion. But that was signed on this date, April 18th, 1978. Birthdays today, Haley Mills. She was in The Parent Trap in Pollyanna, and she was also the teacher, Miss Bliss, in the Saved by the Bell, the original Saved by the Bell. It was called Miss the Saga of Miss Bliss, and they changed it to Saved by the Bell. Yeah, Zach Morris knows their first teacher was Miss Bliss, Haley Mills. She's 76 today. Cindy Pickett, who played the mom in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, she's 75 today, as is James Woods, actor extraordinaire James Woods, 75. Rick Moranis from Honey, I Shrunk the Kid fame and Ghostbusters is 69. Eric Roberts from Runaway Train and Less Than Perfect, and also brother of Julia Roberts, he's 66 today. Jeff Dunham, ventriloquist Jeff Dunham, 60 today. Conan O'Brien is 59 today. Eric McCormick, who played Will on Will and Grace, is 59 today. Melissa Joan Hart is from Sabrina the Teen Wolf. She is 46 today. And finally, Kourtney Kardashian, who's famous just because her last name's Kardashian. She is 48 today. Thanks for everybody listening. Talk to you tomorrow.
This is WOCA AM, W242 CAFM, Ocala, the source.